Thank you for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. It is Sunday, November 9th, 2025. We have a big time front. High concerns for flooding watching the Western Caribbean and Central America, in particular Honduras, for big rain totals, and then a huge cold blast that'll dive down to the south. And I want to highlight the low chance, very low chance of tropical development. Good news in that department to pass along. We'll zoom into that. So there's plenty of areas to cover. So thank you for your patience in this video and an update on some of the earthquake activity as well. Taking a look at through the what's going on through the Caribbean. We've had some spotty areas of rain already this morning through the day, parts of Puerto Rico, and then heavier rain Panama. This is going to lift to the north, keeping a very close eye on Honduras, where we could have some spots over 200 millimeters or 8 inches of rain over the next 3 days. And that is kind of combining with a front to the north. As a front drops in, it pulls up this moisture. That is the concern. Cayman Islands and Jamaica, I'll monitor how close some of the rain gets. As we go over the next 2 days, it looks like through the Western Caribbean and Central America, that's where the rain is really going to be building the next few days. Now, can anything develop into something tropical? Water temperatures this time of year are still warm enough through the Caribbean. But again, I am not seeing signs of development. There's always a chance that we're still in the hurricane season of something trying to spin up, but it is a very low chance. Looking at the inside kind of a behind the scenes look of the European model, this shows the chance of a tropical storm developing in the Western Caribbean at a very, very low to almost zero chance at this point. You see it here. This is almost a 0% chance right through here. So that again is good news to pass along. Now there's a little bit of chatter with some of this rain that's going to build of the chance of tropical development. I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing anything spinning up. I am concerned about the rain. So let me start with that and then show you what's going on to the north through the U.S. with that big front and parts of Canada as well. But watching out for some spotty rain. Barbados, St. Lucia, hit or miss. Jamaica for us, Haiti, Dominican Republic today, Puerto Rico. Watching the front here and watch what happens. Watch how this is tied together. It draws in that moisture. Front sinks to the south, lifts up the rain. So not only Honduras, but over toward Belize, even Guatemala, rain chance bumps up. Nicaragua, some heavy pockets of rain. Belize, I'll be watching carefully, watching the Yucatan of Mexico. You see this rain right in through here, but you see how it just kind of settles back through Honduras, east side of Nicaragua. This is by Tuesday. Here's the front rolling through the Bahamas. The Bahamas, Florida, Cuba, chilly weather. We're going to see some of that in the Cayman Islands. The front kind of gets stalled here, but that moisture, this is Wednesday. We're still tracking that rain, heavy at times, watching San Andres, Providencia, back through Costa Rica, Panama, and then back through the Cayman Islands. On the edge of Jamaica, the rain should stay for the most part. There'll be some rain. The rain's going to increase, but for the most part, just off to the west, and this is what we'll be tracking throughout the week. Some increased rain and again, some colder weather through Cuba, and then we'll see how far south this front gets. Looks like it'll kind of stall out in the southern Bahamas. Spotty showers for us. Trinidad and Tobago north through Antigua and Barbuda. Now here's the front. I mentioned how it's all tied together. This is the front moving by. Lake effect, snow, big time snow in here. The white shading is snow, but look how this front stretches all the way down. Here's the Yucatan Peninsula, close to the Cayman Islands, Cuba, back through the Bahamas. That front sweeps by. Heavier rain, parts of the Atlantic region of Canada, parts of New England, gusty winds surge out of the north, sweeping all the way down through the Gulf. Back through the Bahamas, it is going to be flat out cold. Back through Florida, northern, central Bahamas. Cold weather, front sweeps by on Tuesday by Bermuda. And look at the rain, the Atlantic region of Canada coming out of New England. And again, that cold air back behind it, plunging far to the south. This is a front that is getting very far to the south for this time of year. And you see some of the temperatures as we swing through the Caribbean. Of course, for the most part, we're on the warm side. But as I mentioned in yesterday's video, you see some of these yellow shadings showing up. We get back through parts of Cuba, swinging back toward Central America. We're going to see some of that cooler air where some of the daytime high temperatures will be running in some spots, especially back through the Bahamas at about 19-20 degrees Celsius. And then you see this cold air diving down back through the Florida Keys to the north. Some temperatures will be in the 30s, especially as you get back toward northern sections of Florida, back through parts of Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, the Carolinas, even some 20s, even a little bit colder as you get over towards some of the higher terrain. So watching this surge of cold air, and you see it, here's Bermuda. This is Tuesday morning, that yellow shading, how it dives down through the central Bahamas, Cuba, back through the Cayman Islands, right over towards Central America. Mexico, it is going to be on the cold side. Mexico City, we have a chill moving in. Yucatan Peninsula, we're going to notice the chill tomorrow into Tuesday, even Wednesday, lasting because of the front. And you see it here with a change in direction in the winds. And that's really everything with a big front moving by. Look at that through the Gulf, back through the Bahamas. There's that northerly flow. This is tomorrow. The front sitting right about here, again, pressing back through the Atlantic region of Canada, Bermuda, down through Cuba. The front, for the most part, sitting to the north of Jamaica, but very close to the Cayman Islands. And you see those winds. I'll show you the seas in a second. Winds coming very gusty off the east coast of the United States that surge out of the north all the way down through Honduras. Winds will switch out of the north. It'll be a chilly rain for spots in Central America, and then some gusty winds. Cape Cod, watching that kind of spinning back toward the Avalon Peninsula as we work our way into early in the week. And look how the seas correspond to that. Things are going to get very rough. This is tomorrow. Back through the Gulf, the Atlantic waters in here. Look how everything builds, including the Caribbean, as this front pushes in. So as we work our way into Tuesday, some dangerous seas in the Atlantic waters, choppy to rough through the Caribbean, parts of the Gulf, Western Caribbean, watching that. And you see here with that front pressing by, still those choppy to rough seas back through parts of the Bahamas, even swinging back toward the Central and Western Caribbean. This is by the time we get into Wednesday. With that front moving in, those seas are going to be elevated. Again, a rather strong front for this time of year. Now, keeping an eye on the earthquake activity. We had a couple notable quakes on Friday. 4.9 in magnitude off toward the east of Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, and then 5.6 in magnitude over toward the Gulf of California, back toward the Baja, watching Mexico. There's been a couple shakes elsewhere. This is something I'll watch, and if you're subscribed to this channel, if there's any significant quake, you'll get the notification. I'll put out a video for you to let you know about that. I wanted to let you know I cover that. I've had a couple notable quakes, monitoring that, of course, as we go forward. Now, watching the rain as this front sweeps in, kind of spotty showers, not a whole lot. Northern sections of the Bahamas back through Florida, not a lot. Some brief showers as the front passes by. But this is what I was talking about. Cayman Islands, Jamaica, on the edge of the rain. We'll be watching that throughout the week. Spotty elsewhere, where we could get some spots of 25 to 50 millimeters of rain or an inch or two of rain. Watching that back through Puerto Rico, parts of the British and U.S. Virgin Islands today, but Saba, Statia, St. Kitts and Nevis, Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Bart's, not a lot of rain. We swing to the south. Could see a little bit more, a couple spotty showers northeastern Venezuela. Watching Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago. So Grenada, St. Vincent the Grenadines, hit or miss. St. Lucia and Barbados. But you see a little pocket of some increased rain. Suriname, Guyana, northeastern Venezuela. But this is where the stuff gets very heavy. Keeping an eye on Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, San Andres, Providencia, but watching Belize. Eastern and southern sections of Belize, right? And then working our way back through Honduras, especially north side, including the islands, and then interior sections of Guatemala. That's where we could have some spots of 200 millimeters of rain or 8 inches of rain. I'm not seeing development at this point, but I am concerned about the flood potential. I will continue to highlight that and zoom down as we go throughout the week ahead. Watching some of the extra rain, spotty back toward southern sections of Mexico, back toward the Yucatan to the north. We're on the dry side. Much of California, swinging back toward New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, very dry. Here's that front pressing by, but that could give us some additional rain, especially as I showed you this system, as this front moves in and winds up and lifts from New England, where we could get an inch or two of rain back toward the Atlantic region of Canada, where we could have some spots over 100 millimeters of rain. So Jamaica, our rain chance about 30% today. It will bump up to about a 50% chance on Tuesday on the edge of some of the rain. Same thing in the Cayman Islands. We'll monitor that rain threat with some heavier stuff just to the south and back toward the west. Looking at a 40% chance of a spotty shower possible. Could get a brief downpour. Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, back through St. Lucia, a 20 to 30% chance over the next 3 days. Rain chance 40% today in Grenada, down to about a 30% chance tomorrow. Same thing, St. Vincent the Grenadines the next few days, rain chance about 30 to 40%, not super high. 40% chance over the next couple of days in Martinique will swing to the north. Dominica, rain chance today and tomorrow, running at 40%. Isolated for what's left of today into tomorrow, about a 20 to 30% chance in Guadeloupe. Same thing Antigua and Barbuda. The rain chance not very high. Passing variety, 30% chance today, a little bit higher tomorrow. St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, rain chance will be running at about 40%. A 30% chance the next 2 days. Anguilla and St. Bart's, 30% chance St. Martin, Saba and Statia, down to a 20% chance on Tuesday. That rain, I've been watching that already, especially along the southern coast and central sections of Puerto Rico, monitoring that throughout the day. And as we get back toward parts of the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, there's already been some showers around for some of us. The Bahamas, watching the front sweep by. The colder weather, that'll be the story as we go over the next couple days. Some flat out cold nights. Turks and Caicos rain chance by Tuesday will bump up to a 50% chance. The Dominican Republic, a 40 to 50% chance over the next few days. A 30% chance in Haiti today, but up to about a 50% chance for tomorrow. Back through Belize again. The rain chance for tomorrow is going to be building. Ladyville, Hopkins, Belize City. Monitoring that, monitoring some isolated areas of flooding in Belize, in particular for tomorrow. Aruba, rain chance about 20%. Curacao and Bonaire, rain chance the next 3 days at about 20 to 30%. I mentioned northern sections of Guyana, northern sections of Suriname. That's where the rain chance will be higher for the next couple of days. 40% chance through Cuba, and that colder weather will be sweeping in. Costa Rica and Panama, 60 to 70% chance of rain. Nicaragua, areas of rain, especially closer to the water, eastern side, Caribbean side, and in Honduras, as I mentioned, the high rain totals. Flooding a likelihood, northern sections and some of the islands and eastern sections. Rain chance a lot higher tomorrow, and that will continue. Monitoring that as we go throughout the week. Guatemala and El Salvador, especially interior sections, and then as you work your way closer to Belize, that's where that rain chance will be higher. Mexico City, slight chance of a shower tomorrow, scattered about with that front passing by across the Yucatan Peninsula. Northern Colombia, 60% chance. Northeastern Venezuela, that's where there's a better chance of some rain. And then as these fronts sweep by, look at Bermuda, gusty winds and the higher chance of rain by the time we get into Tuesday. So big front dropping south, temperature drop in the northern Caribbean, the rain building western Caribbean and Central America. We'll be monitoring that flood threat. I'll keep an eye out for any signs of development. That will stay on the low side, it looks like, and monitoring any of the seismic or earthquake activity. Got you covered right here. So be safe if you're going to be dealing with some of the flooding and again some of the colder weather sweeping in for some. Keep me posted in the comments. Have a safe and a really good rest of your day.